What's going on, guys? Siren here, bring you guys a kind of different video today to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to Photoshop items or people out of people, or out of photos out of people. So let's go ahead and get started. I got this photo that I took this weekend at Estes Park. Went to um, the Rockies this weekend, and I noticed there was a car in my shot, and there's this guy standing right here. So I just want to show you how to remove people to the best of my abilities and to make it look good. Um, you could spend a lot more time making it pretty much pitch perfect to where you won't see any noticeable difference when you Photoshop people out, or you can do it pretty quick depending on what you want to do. Most of the time you can do pretty quick, unless people really zoom in on your photo, then you'll kind of notice some different things. So I'm here in Photoshop. I don't know how to do this in GIMP. GIMP is a free program you can use, but I'm gonna go ahead and use Photoshop for now. What you want to do is go over to the clone stamp tool and hold and drag over, and you'll see the clone stamp tool, not the pattern stamp tool. And now you're in the clone stamp tool. To increase the size of your brush, you can use the open and close brackets, or the left and right brackets, to increase and decrease, or you can manually decrease the size by going up to the left hand corner. But I'm just going to use the brackets for now. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the car. I'm going to zoom in actually a lot just so I can see the car. And what you want to do is you kind of want to mimic what would be behind the car. So this road's leading at a curve, and this car is coming in from a curve. And I want to make sure I get these yellow, the double solid yellow lines in the middle, and then the railing, and sort of in the back. A lot of the stuff you can blend in due to the fact that you're not really up close and it's a lot of background information. So you can kind of get away with not doing it pitch perfect. So I'm going to decrease my the brush size. And what you want to do is you want to hold Alt. Now this is going to copy this area of the image. Now if you want to leave the original image and make a duplicate, you can just by hitting Control J on your layer. I believe it's Control J. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And now I just want to kind of mimic what's going to be behind this car if this car wasn't here. So I'm going to choose this area, and I'm actually going to increase it. Oh, sorry. Increase it just a little bit. I'm going to change so you could change the hardness and softness of the cloner. So if I increase it to 100% hardness, and let's say if I just grab, let's grab something you'll notice. Let's say if I pick this area, you could kind of see that circle, and it's pretty hard. It doesn't have soft edges at all. But if I decrease it, grab this, and you can barely notice that I put anything there. So I'm gonna leave it at 0%. And now what I want to do is grab this portion, and I'm just gonna kind of paint. So you're gonna see that with the point where I pick this spot, it's gonna move. So it's kind of just gonna move along with what you're trying to clone stamp over. So sometimes you might have to go back to the original spot and just clone stamp, so you can see they're kind of messed up. And I'm just gonna slowly kind of get these shadows under the car and do that. And a lot of the times it's not gonna look very pretty when you're zoomed in this close, only because you'll see a lot of the fuzziness that you're going over. You can also mimic the shadows of the ground, so it's a little bit more lighter over here depending on where the sun was. I don't exactly remember where the sun was. I believe it was somewhere over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab portions from behind the car because it's a little bit more darker. So kind of just paint over, and you can see it's looking a lot better. And the yellow line is going to lead somewhere around here. You can always draw like a paintbrush, decrease that size, create a new layer. You can make it red just because red stands out a lot. Change your brush size, and then kind of just paint like where the yellow line will go. So that's kind of where the yellow line is, around that area. So you can always decrease that and just go back to your original layer And make sure you're selected on the layer that you're clone stamping for, or else it's going to give you an error. So let's just keep on doing that for now. And I believe, yeah, okay, so since we're under the layer, it's not going to copy the red. So I'm just going to keep on clone stamping away. And since it's a little bit of a curve down here, I'm kind of going to do like a curve shape. And go right there. I'm gonna scoot over, I'm gonna scroll up, and you can kind of see these little imperfections, these little black marks that are showing up. You can either clone stamp over them, you can do something like this, just kind of get these little points, or you can use the spot healing brush, and all you gotta do is select over the area, and it's gonna blend the surrounding areas over those imperfections. So that's two possible ways you can do things, and you can use both ways and see which one works the best. That's what I usually do to see which one fits. So now I'm gonna start doing this little line, and here's the things with lines: they don't always come out good because there's sometimes straight edges, and a lot of the times they don't look correct. So I'm gonna see how this works out. And I'm gonna grab some over here and kind of meet in the middle. It kind of went at an angle. And I'm kind of gonna like blend it in. I'm gonna do some on that side. I'm gonna do some on this side. I'm kind of gonna blend it in. Now if I zoom all the way out and go from the beginning, you could see, if you're clearly looking at it, it looks a little bit off, only because there's there's half a car in the middle of the street. But what we'll do is we'll zoom out after we finish deleting the whole car. And a lot of the times people won't notice at all due to the fact that their eye is not drawn to this spot, so they don't see a difference. I'm gonna grab my spot healing brush and make it a little bit bigger. Kind of just go around it to make sure. And maybe make it a little bit smaller. There's a lot of light spots now, so I'm gonna go back to this and kind of just play around with it. Yeah, see, you kind of just want to blend in a lot of these areas. A lot of these areas don't look right, so you kind of just want to blend it in. You want to grab some areas and you're kind of just following the road on this point. And this is working with my own image. When you're working with your own image, you want to grab whatever you're surrounding in and just blend it in as much as possible to where you can't even notice a difference. So like I can see this light beam right here. I'm gonna just kind of follow it, and then I'm gonna follow the road. And sometimes you just want to go back and forth. So right here is gonna be a little bit tricky because I gotta follow the road, and then the difference between the meeting, the 2 points where the road and the dirt meet together. So you kind of got to follow that line, and then you also got to follow the line of the guardrails. So I'm just gonna start from over here. I'm gonna do little by little. Like I said, you can spend a long time perfecting your images to make sure they look correct. I sometimes don't spend too much time on photos if it's, you know, very noticeable that I can't even tell the difference, and other times, you know, I'm just like, I kind of notice it a lot, so I'm gonna spend a little bit more time. But like I said, if you're gonna show this photo to a random person and tell them if anything's wrong, they're probably not gonna notice it due to the fact that their eye isn't drawn to anything that's out of normal because they haven't seen that original photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix this area right here, kind of cover up that, and I'm gonna see if I can mimic this. So it's gonna go at an angle, so it's not gonna be perfectly correct, and I'm gonna kind of cover it up a little bit. I'm gonna see if that works. Kind of looks a little bit off, so I'm gonna try to fix it. And it kind of fades out, so I'm gonna go back up here and kind of fix more. And now I'm gonna do this line. So I'm gonna follow the path. I'm gonna go back to my original spot and pick it, and then do more. And then I'm gonna grab it over here. I'm gonna do a line as well, because you kind of want to meet in the middle. If you clone stamp this side all the way to the left in this photo, it's not gonna look right because it's just copying that same spot. So you want to make sure that you're kind of blending in. If you get lines like these, that you're blending in both sides, and you kind of just want to meet in the middle. And that looks pretty good for now. And I'm not an expert at this, like I'm not 100% professional Photoshop or whatever they're called. It's just kind of what I've learned over the years of using Photoshop. I haven't used Photoshop for a while. I'm still, I guess, considered new at it, but I have some experience with it. And a lot of the times these lines, you want to make sure they're even. So you can see right there, it kind of went over. You just want to keep a straight line. And I'm gonna get this bottom piece, make sure it stays in line. And boom, and you can see the guardrail. Like I can't even tell the guardrail was covered. And I want to get this side, and now start meeting in the middle. Same thing. And you kind of just want to pick a point to where you want to meet in the middle. Sometimes you can use more of this side if you wanted to. And just do more. You could leave like little spots, so you could see right here, there's little pockets of light coming in on the guardrail. So there's this middle portion, and then it turns dark and dark on the side. So you can also do that. Like if I wanted to copy this and just, I guess, put it right there, and that kind of makes it look like the guardrail has little light spots. You can also do this, and then just kind of do that. And it just blends it in a little bit more. And now we're going to delete more of the car. And delete more. Grab this portion. I think that's part of the photo. So, oh well, we don't have a copy. That's kind of what you want to also make a copy sometimes, not all the times, is you want to see what the original photo looks like and see what you have copied over and what you haven't, because a lot of times you're copying items that weren't even covered, so they don't need to be altered. And you could see it's kind of looking duplicate. When I mean it's looking like a duplicate, like this spot right here, I can even, this spot, oh, it's on 0% opacity. Let me just make a new layer. This spot right here, it's pretty much like you got like a copy of that photo, that same exact photo, and literally just moved it, and you get that repeated. So it's not natural. I mean, it can look natural if you have pretty hard edges, and the photo originally has the same sort of light pattern or whatever you're trying to copy. And if it's looking like a duplicate, you want to make sure that it's looking kind of like a blend, unless you want it to make it look like a duplicate. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now, honestly. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing sometimes. I don't think I've ever made a tutorial on how to do this, so yeah. And let me decrease this brush size. There we go. No. And let's go back. Oh, sorry, I'm on the eraser tool. That's why. And let's just keep on copying this. And just keep on going. And now we're going to kind of do these pulls. So this is where it kind of can get a little bit tricky. We're going to copy these pulls, or these support beams, or whatever they are. Now this is kind of where your judgment comes in. It depends where you want to, how much you want to put them. It looks like they're kind of evenly spaced out, so I could do some of this. And then I could grab some over here and kind of just do something like that. Do another one. And then, let's see, let's grab this one. And now I just want to blend the bottom. Okay, so the car is almost gone. Now we got this bush and then behind the bush. So behind, or not behind the bush, behind the railing. Behind the railing, it's the photo itself isn't super high res, and I believe the focus point was on the SS Park logo. So this background's gonna be pretty much blurred out. A lot of this you can blend in, so I can just do a lot of this. Just be sure to not fully get the guardrail to where it's like cut off a lot, and always watch your point to make sure it's not going off course, to where you are pretty much copying like a building into this part right here. So I'm gonna keep on going back, keep on blending it, and it pretty much looks good. So I could see a little bit of blue from that car window, so I'm gonna touch it up just a little bit. And just do a little bit more. Okay, so now we got is this background spot, which a lot of it's just gonna be the trees right here. Do more of this. Actually, I don't want too light, so do all of this, and this is more tree area. So now I'm gonna go back to the railing, touch it up just a little bit. I'm gonna decrease my brush size and just do something like that. Boom. And I can still see some blue right here, so I'm gonna touch it up just a tiny bit. I'll go back to the trees and I'm gonna touch the trees up to make sure that it blends almost like a straight line between the trees and the railing, and it looks pretty good. I still see some blue in the corner, but like I said, you could decrease this brush size and get these little tiny corners to make sure they're perfect. Oh, kind of went too much. And like I said, your eye will catch a lot of this stuff, especially when you're working on your own photos. People probably won't notice it 99% of the time. And let's go ahead and zoom out, and boom. You can't even tell there's a car there. And if you do, then it's because you've been watching this whole video, which has been going on for 17 minutes. Luckily, I'm recording, because if I had to do this all over again, I would have been done. And my mic is recording too, so that's good. All right, so we deleted the car. I don't know if I'm going to split this into two separate parts for the person and the car. I think I'll just do the person just because it's not that hard. The car was probably the hardest part. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You can kind of tell there's like the line kind of goes off. It kind of bumps a little bit. But if I uploaded this and never told anybody I edit this photo, they probably wouldn't notice. They might if they have a really good eye, but let's just go ahead and delete this person now. So it's pretty good because there's not too much to work with here, or there's not too much to blend in from hard lines and hard edges. A lot of it's brush and trees back here. So let's go ahead and grab our clone stamp tool and increase our brush size. And we could do this brush size pretty big and do a lot of portions the same. So just keep on going. And sometimes you want to follow these tree lines. And grab this side. Get right there. Just grab this bottom portion. Just do some over here. Some in the middle. Just kind of play around with a lot of these trees. Also make sure that if you're getting like these branches, you're kind of following that rule to where there's not just a random branch cut off and some random other branch coming in. And a little bit right here. You can kind of blend in this back mountain, delete some of the tree if you wanted to. Go up. I'm gonna grab this tree from up here. And I'm gonna grab more of this tree. And then grab some more of this mountain back here. I'm gonna delete some of this tree. I mean, you can kind of cheat like that. Grab this. And like I said, a lot of it is just grabbing little pieces of the background and using it for your photo. Kind of just blending it in. And I believe, yeah, down here a little bit, I'm gonna decrease my brush size. And I'm really thirsty right now, so I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. It's a lot better. And just blend in some of the stud brush. And I believe that's it. I didn't even think I didn't really think I did all him that fast. So that's it, guys. That's that's the deleted photo. I don't know if I have it still in here. I think it's in my Lightroom software. So there you guys go. There you have it. That's how you pretty much delete somebody out of the background, or delete people, delete cars, delete dogs, delete cats, dolphins, whatever you want. Delete yourself. If you guys have any questions or have any kind of criticism, just let me know down below. If you guys have any cool techniques that you guys use, you guys can also do that. I don't know if there's like a tool where you can kind of just select area and it'll try to delete whatever's in that area and blend it in. I think there might be. Not 100% on that. But that's my technique. It takes some time, and for harder photos, it definitely is better if you take time to delete whatever you're trying to delete and make it, like it was never there. So that's my tutorial for you guys. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like on this video and definitely share it to other people that use Photoshop and want to get used to using this technique. And that's pretty much it, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.